Call the meeting to order. I don't have any minutes or anything yet.
I'm sure y'all read them, right?
Yes.
You were here, so you should have been, no, you weren't. Oh, yeah, you were.
Tony.
Yep. And I went by there and that does look a lot better with the block now.
Does.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. It's still narrow, but
Yeah, but you don't show nothing like you did with that block sticking out there.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as written?
Second.
Second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Full house.
7 exactly. You gotta get on my time and not yours.
All those in favor? Did I say that already?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have this one to sign?
Yep, there's there.
And
Alright.
the visitors are up.
Visitors are up. You guys can sit there if you want. Okay. Or you can move over. It's up to you guys, but we'll make room. It's up to you. Nope, okay.
They're going to see what we got.
So I made one, I had one big copy made and then I had some little ones so you can have.
Thank you.
Roll stuff this way and I don't know who wants to be the upside down people. That's the other. These are Brian's drawings, your engineer. Okay. How many sets I have here? No? There we go. Oh, Brian, you're on.
No.
So this weekend I was able to wrap up first progress effort for your building following Ann's design. I was back in a minute. I'm Brian Douglas, your structural engineer, taking care of the skeleton of the building, concrete, wood, and roofs and stuff like that. It's an 11 by 17 and full size set here. We were very short notice that we were coming today. It just happened to work out the schedule. Had me finishing up these set of drawings when you guys had a meeting tonight. So tonight or the days to come, take a look at these. These kind of define the direction that the building structure is going to take. Soils below. Do have some questions for you, but I don't know where you want to go with this, but one of the big questions we had, one of the big issues was where you want to put the building. It has been an area that has been like a dumping ground for just miscellaneous fill. Whatever it is, out of ditches, who knows what. And we did some test pits a couple weeks back and found exactly that. We found organics, we found rubble, voids, and it's my recommendation that the soils that are underneath the building footprint, I personally, it's outside of my purview to make suggestions underneath the parking and whatever, but underneath the building footprint, that's 54 by 120, all those soils get removed down to either native soil or bedrock. Now, ledge is fairly shallow there. We found it between 4 and 7 feet down. When we found it 7 feet down, it was further away from the barns, further east. So I'm guessing there's about 5 foot average out there of soils to be removed. And what you're gonna put back is graded gravel or crushed stone that gets compacted to very specific requirements, up to like the bottom of footings and bottom of slab. It calculates out to be about 1,400 yards in place. That takes into account compaction and stuff like that. But that's just an estimate. Your contractors will help you out with that. Plans are in front of you. Please take a look, and I'll entertain any questions from you.
So you have to remove all the soils that are there under the whole building or just footings of the building?
Underneath the whole building.
Whole building.
Yes.
Slab and everything.
Right. Because if there's sticks and stumps, they'll degrade over time, and even under your slab, it will probably cause you problems in the future.
It's 93 loads of gravel.
Right, Ron? But we, at our last meeting, we already figured that we were gonna dig that anyway, so.
Yeah, we figured you were coming back with this.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but thankfully ledge is right there, rather than, doing a job in Rutland where we dug out about 20 feet of fill and replaced it.
The soil that goes back, the material that's going back in, you'll notice on the prints, it has, there's a specific test that has to be done on all the materials before you even think about bringing it in. So, just because the town has a pit, it does not mean that that material is gonna be acceptable to go back in. Just to give you guys a heads up. You'll know the proper test on there is.
Who does you know where our gravel pit is?
I think I do, it's between here and the village of Venusburg Falls, right?
Yeah, close.
Just down here,
Yeah.
side road.
Do you do the testing?
I don't. Optimum out of Derby does. There's places out of Plattsburgh. But what Ed's saying is that, you know, we need to have granular soils, sand, gravel, that can be compacted, that doesn't have like big stones and stuff. And the laboratory is important because the laboratory will be able to tell us if we can get compaction standards out of this particular gravel product. This is stuff that V-Trains does all the time, and building contractors. So the laboratory will tell you if your materials can be compacted and what moisture content will get you a compaction.
And they'll come out and test it.
Yes, either you'll bring them buckets of samples from your pit, or they'll drive by and pick up some from you when they're in their travels for other jobs.
Any other questions?
So when all of this is put back in though, how long do you have to wait for it to be compacted before you build on it?
The compaction we're talking about is using a vibratory roller, big vibratory roller, pound the heck out of the gravel. And it's usually put in 9 to 12 inch lifts. So the equipment will smooth it out in a 12-inch layer, compact it, test it. They have a nuclear testing gauge. It's a big shoebox that they come, and the testers will tell you if it's compact enough based upon my specification. So after that's done, you can take right off, start putting footies on it or whatever.
Yeah.
So when can this all, have we decided when this is gonna start?
So you're
I
gonna
wasn't
ask
having-
Danny when they have time, or are we gonna hire somebody to dig this all out, or is the town itself gonna
I
remove this stuff? That's
thought
where
we
I'm
had
at.
talked about having us do it.
The excavator's parked right on top of it.
Yeah, so it's,
I mean, we can
And then
start
we
as soon
just
as
throw the
gravel.
gravel over.
As soon as,
Well, I happen to do some test pits for a septic system today, and Mike, not Mike, but, the other guy was there. He was, and we were talking, and you are borderline on your wetland, like really close right now. So more than likely, you're gonna be trucking the material back to the pit or something. You're gonna be getting that stuff's gotta come out. I don't think you're gonna be able to dump much of it over the bank because of the site plan and the relative closeness of your wetland system.
Which
And
is
he
right
said
below the
that-
salt shed.
And he was saying that as of about a year ago, the state is watching everybody super close. So,
Oh, we can take it back to the pit, it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
well,
People always.
if you have a spot to dump it,
Yeah.
it probably, there's a good chance it won't be right there. Maybe, but that'll be something we'll have to ask Mike or somebody to,
yeah,
whether you
have
have
to take a
enough
look at
room to put
it.
that
Yeah,
material.
take a look at it, cause if we can put, there's 93 loads gotta come out if 93's coming in.
Yep,
And if we got a spot at the pit, which isn't a wetland,
right.
we'll just truck them there instead of out of the way.
Yeah.
It's not
The
that hard.
cheapest, we go
Well, I
over.
mean, on the other thing too, is you're trucking 93 out, but you're not necessarily bringing a load right back. Because you gotta clear the area, open it up, and then start compacting and come back. So it's not like you don't have trucks bringing a load both ways.
But we can't get it all from our pit, though.
Oh, no,
You do
well,
something.
not
That's whether
necessarily.
it's tested.
Chances are pretty good, since most of the fill in Franklin County comes from Berkshire.
But not from down there.
Yeah, that's a good point. The only way to avoid that is stockpile.
I would dump a pile next to it.
All 100 truckloads somewhere on site, away from your,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, that's,
out of the way,
Right.
out of the wetlands, and handle it later. It's just handling it a couple times, but.
Especially if you're gonna just get it out of the area of the construction site, then at your leisure, move it off. I mean, that would be,
yeah, I mean, that's all doable, easy enough. I mean, you can dig half of it out, stockpile it, and then stop, and then, you know, when you run out of room, you can haul it out. And then,
but on the other thing,
Yeah, I think
The
you're
other
gonna
thing you
pack
might
in
want-
layers, you're gonna want it all done.
well, no, but I mean, you
you
can,
know, the other thing you might wanna think about is, you have maintenance to do all summer.
well,
Nick-
yeah, I
Nick
mean,
keeps
that's
you
gonna
busy all
be,
summer. How much time are you gonna put into this project, or are you gonna have, just say, nope, get it done? And then the hauling off of the debris, and maybe trucking, spending a couple days trucking material back in. You help out with that, but as far as all the digging and there's a lot of digging, there's.
Well, if
pipes.
there's a hole big enough to put that in over there, it will be put in it, I guarantee you.
No,
For the
I
excavator.
understand.
yeah,
But I'm
If the
just-
minute somebody goes over and drags a stake where the wetlands are, we're gonna fill in right up next to them.
Yeah, no, that's fine, but I'm just.
no, I know what you, I know what you mean.
I know what you're saying, we'll,
They have a lot of maintenance to take care of already
yeah,
every summer. So as far as digging a hole to virgin soil, then they might be able to spend it.
we're trying to save as much money as we can, so the more work we do ourselves, the better. This,
Well, I know.
this is throw a wrench into it, this is gonna add
But if we hit,
93 loads.
if we hit ledge closer, it's not gonna take so much, right? Or if we got.
He did a
we don't have to-
guesstimate already.
Yeah.
From the test pits I've
Oh,
done,
that's how you
I
get your-
expect the ledge to be between 4 and 6 feet
And that's
down.
that's where your estimate
That
is.
yardage came from an average
Oh,
of
okay.
5 feet. That's the best we know right now.
Okay.
But the town may also consider excavating this area and doing whatever you want with the spoils, and then having your selected site contractor come in. And you can use your trucks, but you could do the quick and dirty, easy work of just excavating the hole, because that's easy. Just
Yeah,
take that
that's-
sucker out. But backfilling, compacting to specification, making adjustments with moisture content, number of roller passes.
Yeah,
The
we don't
town
have
certainly
any
is capable of doing that, but it's an art that site contractors can do readily, not quite with their eyes closed, but readily. And time is money also, because if you have a concrete contractor coming in on July 7th and
You better be ready.
you're scrambling, bad things can happen. I've seen this happen before over these gray hair years. And you have your maintenance to do. So that's just a consideration. You can tear the carpets out before you get your new flooring in by a contractor.
Yeah, well, I mean,
is food for that.
There's always somebody that you can hire to compact it. Like you said, we can still draw it in. That's your biggest expense.
Right. If you've got trucks to run, that's fine. That's good. Most contractors work.
So that'll have to be something we'll have to hash that out if you wanna do that. I mean, 90 loads of gravel. Of course, the compacting is what takes its time. It'd only take us a week to get 100 loads up here. We can do 20 loads a day per truck. So
We have enough gravel down there to do that?
if the stuff that we,
passes,
the stuff that I wanna bring up, if it passes, we would.
But if not, I mean, we got the pits, I mean, you can get it from.
Right.
I
Yeah,
mean, if we had a
There's a couple
light,
of
they're
pits.
not that far away, really.
no, and then you gotta see, you know, we're all in the same vein, so you gotta see if theirs passes. Or, I would say if theirs, ours should. But you never know, they're sometimes can be pretty stingy on their testing. But,
Yeah, I'll have requirements, but we're gonna keep things within reason when we're backfilling well below the building. When we're right below the slab, I'm gonna be very picky about what goes right below the slab. But bringing in fill, well, again, it needs to be absolutely compacted well.
yeah,
And that can happen with 4-inch minus bank run, if it checks out with the lab, where you don't wanna use that right below the slab. So we're gonna be reasonable with this,
Yeah.
but it will have a specification to it.
yeah, I got some pretty good gravel down there.
You got some sifted stuff that we put on the road. You can take a bucket with him tonight.
So what's our next step from you then? Is basically just get that gravel and get it tested, or, you know what I mean, to know where we should be getting it? If ours work, I
Right.
guess is what we should
Um,
say.
If the
Or if
town
we
wants to
have to
start
look
this,
other ways.
this check, it's not final with these plans, but I'm gonna have specifications on the materials right here with the, you know, how they sift the gravel and you have the fines, the dust and the bigger particles. So, the spec is actually right here. I need to finalize this for you guys. It's 3-inch minus right here, but I'd like to see what the pit has because if
Yeah.
I can give a blessing to something that's a little bit different than this. So, I can prepare a letter to the town specific to getting your material sources checked. I'll tell you what is expected, gradation, the compaction stuff in the laboratory, and you can go and
Who to
see what you
contact?
can. Yeah, I'll give you a couple leads for testing agencies, but it's a ways away, but Optimum is kind of right there.
Well, I think that would be the first thing we could do is figure out if we've got it down there.
Yep. And that's how I can help you with a letter.
Yeah, anytime that you wanted to come around and take a look at it. we can go
Um,
down.
I can take a look, but
We're sending it
He's sending it.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's, you know, like you
get
said,
hold of that, what'd you say?
Optimum.
Optimum?
Yeah. They work with RG Goslin up there, Goslin, they call themselves Goslin. So I got a few more questions if we're all set with dirt. I designed a few town garages, St. Albans, Montgomery, you guys modeled this after a little bit. Some of those parties liked having a lifting point in their ceiling for a hoist. If you wanna pick up like 2,000 pounds for a plow or pulling motor or whatever. Is
You
that
have to go
something you
through-
wanna
no,
incorporate into the design?
no, because it's way expensive to get your rafters certified for that.
You're getting rafters that, they're trusses that span 54 feet and hold up a whole bunch of snow. What they do is often just build, in short, just more of the same. They just put them multiple plies together. Montgomery's got it, I believe, if I remember right.
And
It's been a
Montgomery's
while.
got,
Anyway, now's the time to build it into your design, and now's the cheapest to do it.
Yeah.
But it may cost you $4,000 more
Yeah, they do like a girder truss,
Yeah.
they'll tell you the point, whatever on the building, you have
Yeah, we just,
four of
we
them fly
just,
together, but. Do you
now is
guys-
that in on, each bay, or is that just one
Wherever
single
you
point?
want.
However your work day is gonna be, we have one
Are you
work day.
realistically gonna hoist anything off the ceiling?
You know, you never know. We were thinking of getting a gantry. That way, if you wanted to go to bay 1 or 3 or whatever, you could roll it over there. Something like a 2-ton gantry. Montgomery hangs their plows off them.
And they said that's only just to stop them tipping over if somebody bumps them.
Yeah, basically that's all it
They're not
does.
really lifting them, they're just supporting the balance of them.
And we don't.
I don't
ours
think, I don't think we
follow.
do that kind of work.
No.
Like,
Uh,
this ain't, we send them to Valancourt so they can go all over with the airlift.
Well, we tear our plows down, but we've never had any problems doing it. We pull the pins on them and roll them right on their face and go to work on them. But I don't see any.
You've never lifted anything in 30 years.
No, they're not lifting motors, we're not, anything that involves a lift is not happening. By the
that
crew
garage
we
has
got
never had a
today.
hoist in it.
Yeah, no.
And that's why I was saying maybe a gantry just to pick up like our generator or stuff that's.
But we worry about that.
Yeah, man, that's-
It's nothing, we won't be,
That's okay.
Now's the time to talk about it.
Yeah.
Others have enjoyed opportunity, but
others had better timing and less interest.
I mean, it's a good idea to have one, but we've never had to have one. Never lifted anything.
But the increase is not gonna be a big, that wouldn't be a big increase.
for one bay,
If you did it on your one
It'd be,
mechanics bay or
it'd be
something.
beefing up a couple rafters wherever that'd be.
Well, the bay 5 is technically, they're calling a maintenance bay. But again, it's, Danny's been here for years, and the only time they've ever lifted anything was something that they might put in the back of the truck or something like that, and they were always outside lifting it with a loader or.
Yeah, but you
whatever.
gotta think of the
There was
future,
never
the
anything
future
lifted
too.
like
right?
that.
Yeah.
Never
Andy's
lifted
not
a
gonna be here
motor, never
forever.
lifted a.
We
won't
hole.
be here forever.
You never
I
lifted
mean,
a.
if it's $4,000, then
It might be worth it.
it might be worth it.
You
Put
know,
it in that one bay.
never know, we might have trouble, we'd have to come here and work.
I definitely think it's, you know, it's a good idea, but I was just trying to hold the prices down. But $4,000 on a,
He's just shooting a number in the air.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's for a special truss and a custom fabricated steel, hanger with a eye or whatever hanging down for you
Yeah.
to put your chain ball hoist on or whatever. So it's just for electric. So,
I mean, I'm not,
I don't,
I'm definitely not against it.
I don't think you get
I'm
down
not,
to what the,
I'm not suggesting it, I'm
Yeah.
presenting a
what the
question.
the actual cost.
Present,
is
yeah.
Closer.
Cause when we get into shave mold, this will probably disappear if it's, we haven't really, we'd like to get to see what the big price is gonna be. That's what we're trying to get. We've already done some shaving already.
Yeah,
So I guess,
okay, and I don't need an answer tonight.
no,
Yeah.
I would say,
Well, throw it into designs,
Yeah,
if
we
it's
throw it in
something simple to
design.
take out, she's gonna have to get the eraser out.
so I would try that.
What do you think?
So that's on you, Brian.
I think if it's a
Yeah.
$100 project, let's $5,000. You know, it's like, now it's there, even if it's never used, who knows what, it's gonna be there a while, I would think, so down the road, it could be used.
That's what I think.
Hindsight.
So I know a lot, you guys haven't seen the plan. I read them, I looked
I
at
saw
them,
them on the phone, or these are different, these are Brian's.
yeah,
These
I
aren't the
looked
ones
them
we got
over
on the
fairly
phone?
heavy last night. Like the floor pitches, this is his slab for the 4 truck bays, and then the maintenance bay is basically a flat slab. but with the trench drains and stuff. And this is one of the questions I was gonna ask you is, would it be, because right now you have a fairly steep pitch on these sides here. And I'm sure it's because of the pitch from here to here, that tells you what that's gonna end up being.
Right.
Would it be smarter to go a continuous, leave this one on this side because of the office space, but go from here to there with a continuous drain, and then we could alleviate some of these? Or do they have to be that tall?
So what we're looking at here is these long rectangles. These long rectangles are your trench drains. At Ann's direction, they're 12 feet long and happen to be 1 foot wide, but that doesn't really matter. All these lines show slopes of the floor going right to the trench drain. Okay, forget about these triple lines, that's rebar to stop cracking. With the trench drains placed close to the overhead doors, like 6 feet away, that creates a very steep slope. As soon as you drive in, you go really steep, 3/4 inch per foot, down 4 inches to the grate of the trench drain. That's very steep because the trench drain is so close to the overhead doors, and all the drippings from your plows, if you drive in, are gonna be up here. This is 1/8 inch per foot. It's pretty much the minimum you wanna do with a slab to get anything to flow. And it also has to be built, it has to be constructed, and they need to have some slope to build. So that's where the 4 inches came from, for the drippings to slide all the way down here. Now, you can avoid all these steep slopes if you take your trench drains and move them to the middle of the truck. Okay? Now, that makes it a long ways down when you hop out your door. If you're using creepers underneath the truck, you go into the trench drains.
Yeah.
But that's how we got these steep slopes that Ed was speaking of, especially on the sides.
Yeah.
Because you're down 4 inches, but you're at 0 inches between the trucks. So it's a fair amount.
So in 4 feet, you're dropping 4 inches, is what this is designed right now at. At this line here, this is basically 0, okay? This is 0, this is 0. And then this drops down 4 inches. It comes down 4 inches.
Sure.
And then your drain is there, and then it does the same thing back up to here. Like I said, up here, it makes sense to have a pretty good slope there to stop anything from coming in.
You have an alternative. You just suggested take the rectangular trench drain and turn it 90 degrees and put it underneath the middle of your truck. And that creates a basin, a sloped area that is pretty much the same, not close to being the same all the way around, with more manageable floor slopes.
Yeah, if you ain't cutting the trench the whole way, you're just as well put a drain at the end of each thing and send it out. And then, cause this is Harrison's or anybody looks at that, it's a lot more work to get all these pitches.
Sure. They can build whatever, but it is more work to do.
Yeah, well, it's a
pitches.
lot more work to go 4 inches from here to there. It's gonna be a lot
So
stiffer cement and everything.
I mean, we're just looking at trying to get a creeper underneath.
The hardest part for them is, as far as laying the concrete, they'll lay that right out there like no big deal. The guy with the whirly birds, they're clean, polishing the slab, the other guys that are gonna be like, okay, oh yeah, whoop, wait a minute, we gotta go back around over here and then go back down.
Yeah,
to
but
there
that's
and make it
cost
nice.
associated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
you're buying
That's
a sloping slab
complicated.
no matter what. Well, you're buying that no matter what.
You're gonna end up with a slope.
So functionally, Danny, is there any problem with having the trench drain somewhere underneath the middle of the truck?
Well, like we said, greasing and maintenance is, well, of course, it's supposed to be done on the
You're
other
doing the
one.
maintenance bay.
Yeah.
So what happens if you moved the drains to in between?
Yeah, put one in
Each
between each
door.
truck. Yeah, put one here,
One
one there,
on
and all
your
you
high
need
points, and then
and slope it to the middle of
So
each
you-
bay, right there, and then right there you have less drains.
That looks great on paper until you realize that you're directing all of your drippings and other goodies
To one.
right towards where you walk and
Yeah.
do your business on foot. Putting them underneath the truck makes everything funnel where you're not walking.
I mean, you could
Yeah, we have that.
you could put a plank or what a pressure treated board over your, and just drill. a
Well, the grates,
You know what I mean?
the grates on top of the gutters, the trenches, you could walk on them. I wouldn't walk on them with stilettos, but I don't think anybody wears stilettos in the
Come on,
garage.
guys.
Walk on.
My secret's out.
The squares are only like an inch by 3 inch or whatever, so they're not.
You can get your heels out of those.
You gotta wear your winter heels.
You're right.
But it's just that you can, they're walkable. It's just not convenient. I think what he's getting at is if you had one here and had one over here, the guy getting out of this truck is going to be walking up and down that grate versus
And
the
it'll be
floor.
mud and stuff too. It's not like it's just a little.
Drop
Well,
something,
you
you
know,
step
of
out of
course-
the truck, you drop something, it's going to go down in that trench.
Of course, I'm thinking, you know, all their bays are gonna be maintenance bays, but we do have the one maintenance bay. So you shouldn't be too often on a creeper underneath your truck.
Right.
So I guess we could run them.
I would recommend taking these and turning them
Yeah.
90 degrees underneath the truck. That will raise the grate. It won't be 4 inches down, it'll be less than that. It'll be 2.5 or 2 inches down from zero, which is out here. And I think that'll be very clean as far as, operations, wheeling stuff around or
Yeah.
walking.
Rolling jacks and stuff.
And if you have to value engineer them out, you end up with a single like square or circular drain in the middle of each truck.
Yeah.
Because trench drains can be expensive, but that introduces a whole other thing. So trench drains are probably the best until you have to. cut
Same
them.
size, centered into this
The
area here.
12 foot.
Yep.
I'm usually told, well, the trench drains are a plumbing fixture. I'm usually told what the plumbing designer wants to use for a fixture. Whether it's fiberglass grates or cast iron grates. Recommend that they're wide enough so you can get a flat shovel down them to clean them.
Yep. 10 inches.
Some people make mistakes and buy 8-inch wide. Well, that's a pain to clean.
You gotta have it at least 10 inches inside and typically.
The 9-inch shovel, we already measured that up last week.
You go the galvanized ones.
So as far as the length goes, the selected trench drain model comes in, often they're modular, they have 4-foot lengths. So that 12 foot would work, but if a particular model comes in 10-foot lengths, then we are not wise to specify 12 foot. So
So you could get
Typically,
yeah,
Would he?
You wanna know what, I think the key is if you already know the trench company, great company that you might wanna use, then you ought to find out what that size is, that is a common size. So you're not special ordering,
it's the regular.
and then that way
yeah,
we can put it on
I
the
know-
plan.
a lot of the projects I've worked with, Harrison will come in, Harrison Concrete will do trench drains for you, and they have a system where they make their boxes. with-
Do they get the grates too?
No, and we can get grates at the Valancourts or any place, you
That's
can
what
get them
Ron
cut fit. But they have a system where they make the boxes up, they have a basically like a 2x10 with a 2x10 with a nailer on the edge that gives us about 1.5 inch lip around the edge, and it's just the right height that galvanized grating comes right over the top, right flush with the concrete. And obviously with trucks, it's gonna be a little heavier than the standard catwalk type material, but, they usually make their own forms and set them right in. They'll cast the boxes, what they want, and then they pour the slab.
Right, yeah, there's different ways to do that.
I mean, that's one of the
Casting
ways
place is
that,
very common, we're doing that at that same Rutland job, public safety building down there.
yeah, they'll actually pour, it'll be 6-8 inches thick of concrete right down around the trench
It's all
all the
poured
way
in
around.
place.
I would design that, so Harrison would know what to do and expect, and Ed said, sometimes they just create a little shelf to put the grate on, but what I would recommend is purchasing a frame and grate that gets embedded in the concrete. The the grate is removable, but the frame is embedded with studs. So you basically get an angle, steel.
It's an angle iron with a bolt.
Yep.
For the grate to sit
Built a
on.
bunch of them.
That's fine.
And it's all level around the perimeter of the trench drain, so that's easy and straightforward. So,
Well, you do have trucks going on this, you know, that
Well,
could be
you're gonna-
loaded with sand coming in.
Well,
No, they're not
if
gonna
they're
want-
going,
other way,
if they're going the other way,
Right.
you
Well, yeah,
strap
actually,
it.
they won't be driving on.
because it's a garage, you would purchase a trench drain that's rated for those heavy
Yeah,
loads.
But they're not apt to be drove on too much.
That's right.
They'd be
So-
in the middle.
You can feel
I
good
think the
about
wear and
that.
tear is gonna be less on
Till somebody gets in there and they gotta turn their truck around in the middle of the garage for some reason.
them. Two
Because
donuts.
Just because.
There's-
Oh,
Oh,
we
don't
got
you
room
probably
for it, why
do.
not do it?
Let's see if we can do this.
We got room for the garage, we got a big enough garage, let's just turn one around inside the building instead of going outside today.
Okay.
Too cold. Who knows?
But
Well,
if-
I'll
if-
change the direction of them.
I would say if they could be poured in place and it's not much cheaper, I'd stay with at least a 10-foot.
The longer they are, the the higher the grates are, so there's less slope.
Yeah.
So there's a happy medium to be found.
So 1 by
But-
10?
What's that?
1
We're
by
gonna
10?
find out if you can get them ten,
Five.
or you say you can get whatever you want. you can get-
No, so it's whatever the actual the frame is. Like milk and parlors and stuff, Vila Val has a 16-inch grade, a 10-inch grade, or a 12-inch grade. And that's what sits on top. The hole's actually smaller, so you want it to be at least a 12-inch or 10-inch, so you get your shovel in. But the top grate is actually be an inch bigger on all the way around, or 2 inches or whatever, because it sets on like a little table.
Yeah.
My next set of drawings will have a section cut through the trench drain, so you know what that construction will look like.
Perfect.
So here's an easier question. Drive in with your truck, park, got enough room around the back to walk around.
We were hoping 4 feet.
And in front of the truck, beyond the plow, you want it flat for your toolboxes or gantry cranes or whatever. What's that number?
6 feet.
So up against the far wall, the back wall, you want 6
The way
feet of flat
at
slab?
54 feet,
get
we
the-
measured a truck at 60 feet.
Oh,
41, just under 41 feet. And then we added 4 feet from the tailgate to the door, and that left us 6 feet from the point of the plow. It's
Going a 54-foot building.
with a 54-foot building. It's a little tighter than I'd like, but it's doable, very doable, so.
So 6 feet from the outside wall and is flat.
Yeah,
That's after, 6 feet after the plow.
yes.
Yes.
If you want,
And you want the plow where it's sloped.
if you're going by, look at, they got it all painted out on the floor in the shop next time you're going by. Is the paint still there?
I don't know, we swept the floor the other day.
You put a plow on
You
the
make
truck
it
to
sound
do
like
that?
you don't do that very often.
No, we do quite
Okay.
often.
But you said the slope is what? How much of the foot?
A minimum of 1/8 inch
Per
per
foot.
foot.
So,
That's
yeah.
what I'd recommend, yeah.
The only question was, we were talking about that wall. Does that wall have to be there?
That was your choice. You guys went
someone
back
said-
and
Well,
forth.
if
on
we
that.
could- we could-
Jason, that said you talked to somebody?
Somebody told me they talked to somebody.
So it was our understanding that
You?
if we didn't have that firewall, we would have to put
It's
in a
not a
sprinkler
firewall.
system.
No,
It's
but
not a firewall.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Somebody-
Then we don't need the wall.
It was
That'll,
just, you guys said at the
no,
meeting,
we don't need the wall.
yeah, we were,
Just-
we were gonna put a wall in if we had to for the fire.
well, we talked, you didn't have to do it for fire, that second meeting I was at. You
Yeah.
didn't have to do it for fire, but you were talking about you might put a modine or something, cause you were working in that bay
No.
and keeping the heat in there? Nope.
No.
The whole building's
Okay,
gonna be
so-
heated.
I know that, but.
So we don't need a wall.
Okay,
Yeah.
so no
We need a
wall.
wall.
Yeah.
What's that?
You sure we don't need a
Nothing, I
wall?
was only provided, it's a.
You were
it's
the
not
one
a
that told me
barrier
about
wall.
No.
this,
I
somebody
was
told me
providing a
about
curb to keep the
750.
wood up, wood up off the
Yeah.
floor, but that
What's
was.
his
That was-
I talked to Jeffrey Bryant.
Keep wood up
What's
off
the
the floor.
date that we had to
Yeah,
have?
okay.
I
That's
talked
what
to,
the office-
I talked to Jeffrey Bryant,
That
the
would make
fire
sense.
safety marshal,
There's no step.
and we
It's
went
just
through the
keeping
specs,
it
we
wood.
looked it up in the book, we're allowed up to 9,000 feet,
Yeah,
square feet before you have to put a fire suppression system in or a wall.
yeah.
You're only at 60 by 120, you were only 7,200.
So now we're down below that now.
So you're now,
6450 or
Okay,
something.
wall's
Yeah.
gone. So now,
so you don't need the wall as far as any fire,
tell them about the curb,
anything.
see if they want that.
Over at your offices, your garage and your offices are gonna meet at this wall. And
Yeah.
as on our plans, it's where your doors are getting into the different rooms. I've included in my plans, 7-inch tall, to work with 2x8s, by 5.5 inches wide curb that gets drilled into the slab and put on top of the slab afterwards to keep the bottom of your wall and your finishes up off the floor. Just in case it gets wet here, you spray off a truck or whatever.
That should be there, there's no way,
Yeah.
that should be, no question that has to go in.
Yep, I recommend it.
Yeah.
Um,
Enough bars
So
to
there's
go
no
in.
step, it's just taking the bottom of the wall and lifting it up
Yeah.
between your doors.
Right.
And again, just 7 inches, you have 2 feet of concrete wall up above everywhere else. This is just 7 inches.
That leaves
Yeah, pressure treated these days rots.
the two curb insulating, inside, outside.
Yeah.
That curb's not gonna be built into it'll be separate.
You just, yeah, they'll just help you some holes, try
Yeah.
some rebars, that is just to keep the wood dry.
What's on the other side of the wall?
It just,
Floor,
it looks like this.
So would water seep between if it wasn't actually put in the cement when it was built?
they're curbing the floor to drain anyway, so.
The garage floor is gonna slope right up to your office doors. So I didn't design, this is a section if you would like, cut it. We can put water stop in here if you want, but I don't think it's necessary because it's not holding water, it's not a pool. So the heavy vertical line that Tony said is, it's a dowel that just gets drilled in without hitting your radiant heat and, holds the concrete curb in place. So the slab finishers will go in and just do their thing, the curb comes afterwards.
It's just to stop the water from wicking into
Now,
the wood.
so there's gonna be a curb between the doorways. Or-
No,
the curb
there's
is
no
not-
step, it'll stop at the doors, cause there's no wood to keep dry.
Yeah, it's not like you're stepping over a curb to get into.
It's gonna be
Oh,
when you
yeah.
drive by a
You
new
mean-
house and you see the garage foundation, you see the
Yeah.
garage doors, the man
So
pass
that's- I
doors.
mean, that's all
That's
the
what
way
it's gonna look like here.
Which is
That's all the way around the building then.
Yeah, the whole thing, it'll
Yeah,
look just
okay.
like the outside, except there'll be a
So
small
I
one
was thinking
inside.
you were going 7 inches higher
no,
from the,
there's
7
no
inches
lift.
higher than the
okay,
floor.
cause I
all
said if
flat.
you do that, you ain't gonna have no handicap approach.
No, see the cutouts right there? That's right. So it's just like when they do right here, like in the
Yeah,
front.
okay, yeah. I was just thinking the wrong place.
That's a good question, 7 inches above the walking surface of the
It's like
slab.
Tony said, it's just to keep your silk.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you go in
Oh,
my
well, that's-
cellar,
Yeah,
and you
mean,
see I
that's-
got everything cut off now this high from the
Yeah.
flood this summer. Cause all the wood wicked it up and the
Okay.
sheetrock's messed up and
No,
everything.
it's okay.
Yeah,
I
no,
got my
that's,
boots on.
yeah, that just makes sense. I
Yeah.
was thinking something different, so.
Next question.
Today, we have to deal with the Vermont, something like the Vermont Commercial Building Energy Code. And it makes a lot of sense, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense at times, but we have to play their game. We have a curb that sticks up, call it a curb. The foundation wall sticks up above the floor, 2 feet above the slab, pretty much the whole perimeter of the building except for the offices. We have a responsibility to insulate that 2 feet that's sticking up. Because otherwise it's just a short circuit. You can insulate between your studs, you can put or you're gonna need to put rigid insulation outside your wood stud walls, but you still have to insulate the concrete that's sticking up. If you do it outside, you get, it's rigid insulation, it's the pink board for what we're talking
Yeah,
about
but
here.
it gets chipped and
Catches hell from,
sun
weed
will eat it.
whackers and whatever. You can put stucco on it, like a stucco type finish, but that only lasts so long. But it works really well being outside. It meets the codes, it's super energy efficient. And if you put it outside, you get to keep the concrete face inside your garage. So like when you roll a toolbox up against the back wall, you're not like damaging insulation or whatever. So you have two options: insulation, rigid insulation outside your foundation where it gets hurt by weed whackers, or you can insulate the inside face of the wall with rigid insulation and wrap it with pressure treated lumber and
So
plywood.
that's what Montgomery did.
I think, yes, that's early efforts of taking care of that.
So I mean,
So
I
we gotta
prefer to
decide.
have it on the outside because you don't let the frost get to your cement. But like you said, it's just gonna get torn up. It is. So might as well put it on the inside.
When I said skim coat, you said or.
Yeah, but once it's in,
Brake metal. You
been
can,
done, gets messed up.
You met your code, you're
You
done.
got your code, right?
Just don't weed whack, run the lawnmower up really, really close. No, I'm only kidding.
It's all gonna be pavement around anyway.
I mean, it's up to you guys.
Which, no, it's up to
Yeah,
you, you're the ones
You just
working
gotta
on
have
it.
a thermal break somewhere.
Yeah.
when it's outside, your options are to like stucco it, and that has a limited life, even if you try to take care of it. You can put brake metal over it, of some sort. You know, if you can't use the 29 gauge stuff because that's just, it'll
It'll run
look
out.
nice, it won't last. You got 26 gauge, or you can go heavier if you're really into it, but I don't recommend that. And there's a premium product that would be value engineered out that has a cement board finish applied to that pink board rigid insulation. We used it down at Peerless Clothing. It looks nice, it works well, it's still susceptible to damage, but I don't recommend that here, but it's a nice way to make it look nice and make it last a lot longer than stucco.
What about just metal siding?
Yeah, just put some corrugated steel from
put
the
a
top
cap
all the way down.
Yeah,
And put a
that's
cap
fine.
over it,
Well,
run a cap all
You can
along?
do that, but if you put 2 inches of foam on the outside of your foundation,
And
unless
the
you
walls
set the
too.
wall out 2 inches, or shim the wall out 2 inches, you got a step you have to deal with.
So you're saying we really should put it on the inside and then figure it out?
No, it can go on the outside, you just have to flash it and cover it.
Yeah. There's going to be rigid insulation on the outside of your studs after I put my sheathing on the face of studs, which I didn't draw in here yet.
So there will be,
How many inches? The code requires a certain amount of R value between the studs and a certain amount of continuous insulation outside the studs. So the rigid insulation outside could be as much as 2 inches thick. So sometimes we
On that
finagle
wall
things
plate.
between us to make it a straight shot.
can we do like 1.5 inches with a 1/2 inch sheathing and then,
That is
Then
up
the-
to Ann and her massaging the energy codes to work.
well, I'm just thinking as a builder, then you have your 2 inches that matches your foundation, and the steel, just make
go
the
right
steel 2
down.
feet longer, your first screw's 2 foot up off the bottom of the sheet. That's all I'm thinking,
Yeah.
as a installer.
So
If-
sketching that up. and
if
see
that
how
would
it
work.
goes.
If we can go maybe a little denser material in the studs and get away with 1.5 inch foam.
Well, that's the other question. What are you thinking about insulating this building? Are you doing the spray, or are you doing fiberglass blown in on the ceiling? I mean,
Well,
you do spray for this
It's all part of the
building,
budget too.
that'll blow your budget out of the wall,
Yeah,
but
spray.
the energy efficiency of it is,
The spray foam, obviously, you get there a lot faster, but it's a lot more expensive.
a lot more expensive.
So,
I mean, for a building like this,
but you can buy you can get the Rockwool insulation versus fiberglass.
right,
That gets you there a couple of points instead. I guess it depends on what we have to reach with that wall, is my question. What's that number we have to have?
So I'll.
If we have to
I
have
need
rigid
check
on the
energy
outside and
code
plus the
commercial.
fiberglass or some sort of a batted material between the studs, and then we have to have a certain R value outside of that. I don't know those numbers, so I know on a normal home, your R19 minimum, they like to see 21 and 23 now.
I think, I think Michael Dugan said it still ran the 19 when I was talking to him in my initial, meeting, but that was that long ago, and it was also said, we gotta look up the energy code, for it, so, I can do that part at least.
Which one would last longer? Like, does the foam, I mean, spray wall, does that last longer than the bag?
I mean, I'm guessing it probably says it does,
they're
but
the
the
same,
fiberglass is, or the rock wool is,
Rockwool's nice stuff.
yeah.
It's very
That's what we
dense,
did
very,
for a while.
I mean, you can take that stuff and stand it in a stud wall, you can stand it, a 4 foot piece of it right up and walk away and it doesn't even move. Doesn't even tip over or nothing. That stuff's very dense, very nice stuff.
I guess you could say the insulation choices that are in front of you will meet or exceed the length of your building life. So, like, the longevity doesn't matter. You don't have to redo it. in 50 years or 20 years.
Spray foam would make a lot tighter building, which in your situation where you have a lot of moisture in this and stuff like that, which you have an air handler system, but a tighter system, too tight of a building might not be to your advantage long term. If you get it too tight.
Your building's gonna be tight anyway.
So the consensus is insulation on the outside for the curb, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I recommend. You don't wanna deal with Montgomery, well, you may not wanna deal with what Montgomery's doing, having a wood curb taking that much more floor space away from you. And then that would be a maintenance item that you have to take care of in 10 or 15 years after it gets beat off.
And that gets smashed up too. So.
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy use area.
So, any other question on that? I have a question on Brian's questions. He asked. I don't know what page it's on. Your cut section of the building, the tail?
Oh, the truss?
Yeah.
Truss kills. So part of my responsibilities are to tell the truss designers at Sticks and Stuff or wherever you guys go, what the trusses are gonna look like and what the loading is and what the spacing is. So, that's what these.
He has it drawn like this, and I have it drawn block. Preference?
I like the bottom cord.
You like what?
I like the bottom cord. Bottom cord runs right out, makes a construction on the
Oh,
construction end.
What I
it can
call
be.
block, okay.
Yep. It makes it a lot simpler, easier on the overhang, simpler on the,
Seal up.
it's just simpler all the way around. Siding, soffits, everything. When they design the truss, the bottom cord comes right across, comes right to this point, then the top cord takes off and they do their webbing and stuff in between.
So that's good?
Yep.
Okay.
So I can.
And actually, like here, he's got a note, he has a note here that he's losing a little bit in this height because of the drop, what they call a top cord drop. You lose a few inches. Over there, it's not so bad, but over here in the front, you lose a few inches. You're only losing a few inches.
Yeah,
But
that outside you don't matter. It's when
Right.
you're inside is.
no, I
Still higher
realize
than
that,
forehead.
but you wouldn't lose any of it. It's
Yeah.
just straight across. Boom, done.
And then you can put like an inset light in front of each bay with that, can't you? It's all
Yep.
Oh,
enclosed.
you saw?
Yeah, you can do it either way. You can do
Yes.
it either way, but
That's a
it
good
makes it a little
idea.
simpler that way.
I like that too. This is.
You also have,
First draft.
I think you have 50-pound load on those trusses.
Yes, it does. I read it
I think
somewhere.
you had it written as
It's on my
50
truss
truss load.
The brown snow load is 50.
I mean, obviously live load and all that doesn't matter. It's
Right.
pretty standard on the rest of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be for Berkshire, because this is a public safety, it's almost like an emergency services building.
It's a secondary.
It's going to be built with a little bit more structural input, because when all heck breaks loose, you're gonna be congregating people in there, like, I'm talking about floods or worse, or anything like that.
Well,
So,
my thing is like, this part of Berkshire is not like East Berkshire. You get more snow here. When you get 6 inches of snow down there, you get a foot up here,
Right.
sometimes 8 inches up here. It varies quite a bit in the town of Berkshire. I'm wondering, should we bump that even to like 55 pounds? Is 50?
That's what I do, and, that already is raised
Okay.
at 50.
It is, okay. Cause I know a lot of my houses in Richford, and we did one up on East Richford, up towards 105 headed for Jay, and I bumped them up 10 pounds just because of the fact there's more snow, there's just that chance of standing 3 feet on the roof and not slid yet.
Right. This roof is designed to have snow guards, so it's not designed to have the snow slide off. Okay, it's okay to hold the snow up there if you wanna purchase snow guards, keep snow from landing in front of your overhead doors. But Ed makes a good point, but all of his concerns are already built into my design modes.
Okay.
Are you
That's all I
doing
want.
metal roof?
Yep.
Are you doing standing seam or?
A lot of people don't.
Corrugated.
That's why I'm.
The other side of that is Morrisville has like crazy high design snow roads because their high elevations are
Yeah,
forest town.
yeah.
And so I designed for like a whole bunch of snow that will never be seen. in Morrisville.
So,
Oh.
mechanicals, anybody yet? I mean, I know
Yeah,
Jake
so-
Benoit is working
Yeah,
and he's gotten some pricing, but he's waiting for details and specs and stuff.
Yep. He went to Montgomery this morning, I talked with him today about
Okay,
some of this. Sean was supposed to get a hold of Corey Bertrand, see if he could give us a hand out of
I
Franklin.
know he talked to him and they were busy and they were gonna get back to each other, and I don't know what the status is on that.
Okay.
And I
Yeah,
know
he's in
Sean's
Ohio.
back, he's back on the 13th.
Yeah, he's in Ohio right now, so.
Chloe is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Highly
He's
respect- Very good and highly respected.
And that's the electrician, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's that. Timelines, I mean, it was already said, but what are you looking for the plans to be completed? So I always know sooner than later, and I tried to punch things out, but I got mechanicals, the delay, other things that are delaying, the testing of the gravels, all that kind of stuff. But when were you hoping, like, to break ground? Maybe I jumped it. Have the permits in place, break ground kind of deal. What's your goal?
Well, we've been at this for like 6-7 years.
We'd like to
so
have
we're
it done
still-
before next winter.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it'd be great if we could start breaking ground as soon as you can break ground,
Okay.
but
But it
A month.
depends on how long it takes permits.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
getting
that's
all of
how-
that stuff too. It's always a hard one.
I mean, for residential, I get people, we have somebody lined up tomorrow to start digging the footings. And they're just talking to me on the plans, and it's like, yeah, work all night. But,
We haven't even gone to the bank
I
yet
know, I
because
know.
we don't really have a number to go with, which we're gonna just go with an average number though. I'm gonna start that pretty soon.
okay, so, what I was concerned about, I didn't wanna hold you guys up on the plan part that I'm doing. And part of what I'm doing is the mechanicals coming at me, and we have holidays and me going away for December, so I didn't want it to mess things up.
We really need a price, so as we can
Okay, so
know
we're all
what
good.
to go, yeah,
When we're
Yeah, I
gonna
mean-
go.
yeah.
it's, when it comes to.
We know we can wait a year, it's, we're making do with what we
I don't like
got.
to be the one to hold things up. I told you that in the first meeting, but this was taking a little longer than I thought some of the things would come back at me. And now it's coming up to December and I'm not gonna be around, and I'm like, oh crap.
Well,
So,
this is going fast compared to what we've been dealing with the last 2 years.
yeah. Okay. Well, that's the way I like things to roll.
People are showing up.
So,
Before I
Andy,
couldn't get
you
nobody to
squared
call.
away on the stairs on the mezzanine where you said that the other side
I
could have
haven't
the
dealt
full.
with, that was
okay.
a Michael thing, cause he was the one who was saying second set,
Okay,
and Montgomery doesn't have it, and they're 6 feet wider.
yeah,
And I think
We
if
can just go with that one
if
end,
a second exit is required, why it can't just be a ladder down, kind of deal.
yeah, just a drop down here.
Kind of thing. But that was one of your questions, a removable rail or not?
Yeah.
Wasn't that
Yeah,
for up on
just
the?
a temporary one on my plans. So mezzane's just gonna be a big wood platform with some sort of guard railing
Yeah.
on there. I recommend you make at least one section removable
Yeah.
by a
That's
person
what
or
we had
two.
talked about.
I saw Montgomery's, they actually take the loader and put stuff up there, so I
Is there a reasoning why, like, individual slabs in front of each door?
That was one
That's your
where, so I wanted
aprons.
to talk about.
That was your aprons that you asked for.
So, outside the overhead doors, Ann had aprons that were 16 feet wide by 4 feet.
Same as the doors, basically.
Yeah.
That
6 feet
came
out, I think they were.
Okay, 6 feet, but they were interrupted between the doors, start and stop.
Why not for?
Ian and I can put on the boxing gloves if you want, but I'd recommend just a continuous
That's
slab.
a slab with our
Cleaner.
posts, just set in there.
Continuous?
It's a
Yeah.
few more dowels.
I don't draw aprons too often.
So you had fun with this, didn't you?
Why would you put the thing?
I'll do
Because it's probably
whatever.
gonna be a gravel driveway and, it'd just be cleaner, scraping snow, you're gonna be catching the edges of those.
Yeah, it'd be
If you
simpler
choose
just
to
go
run down the
continuous.
length of the building,
And that doesn't mess up these things, right?
no, those are bollards that are outside the overhead doors to protect your door jams from trucks.
And you said something about one near the front door in a note to me?
I don't think so.
Not necessary, right?
No.
We got all these that are there.
So we can incorporate a continuous apron. That apron outside, it's only 6 feet. I don't know if it's as big as Montgomery's, but it does a number of things for you. It combats the bump up going into a garage. So many of us have that at home where whether it's paved or not, if you travel over it with trucks repeatedly, you're gonna have settlement and you're gonna be bumping into the building. This will allow a nice smooth transition. The concrete apron will be 8 inches thick, just like the floor slab, and it'll be doweled into the foundation, so there won't be any settlement. That's what I recommend.
Okay, that's easy.
And you just heard the term bollard. That's those
Had
big
to
pipes
look it up.
that protect your door
Is
jams.
that on the inside too?
That was a big question.
That, well, that
Yeah.
one's
They are not yet. I
there.
have them outside, and there's 16-foot overhead doors, and I have 16-foot clear between the bollards. That can be increased a little bit if you want, but I don't recommend it, especially when you have 16 feet to play with. Do you want the bollards outside, and do you want them inside? These are 6-inch steel pipes filled with concrete.
Well, I've been to Fairfield's garage and I've seen the inside ballards banged, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's common to put them
I
on
mean,
the inside.
I would put them in, and when it comes down to pinching the pennies,
Yep.
if we have to, they can go away.
Yeah, I don't know, did the one overhead door or whatever.
The other
That's
thing
basically
that
what I recommend.
we're gonna have to place a fuel barrel out here, around here somewhere. And what would be, I know they don't like to see them on the ground. It's on a slab right now.
A fuel barrel?
Yes.
Their
The
diesel.
fuel, for the,
Ah,
for the
okay.
trucks and
It's a
stuff.
1,000-gallon tank or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are the requirements, cause I know that they're changing, do they have to be in the containment area?
You'd have to consult a fuel dealer. As a structural guy, I only rub elbows with that a little bit. It needs to be a certain distance away from the building. Containment depends upon the type of tank, if it's double walled or not. You may have to have one of those concrete bathtubs, I'm not sure. But
So who
Your
they
site
get their fuel
planning.
from can tell them that.
Yeah, since it has nothing to do with this building for the trucks anyway, so.
No, but I'm just saying, you're gonna move all stuff around the yard. It would be
Yeah,
the time
it
to
sits
do it
outside
in the
now.
convenience of,
While you're pouring.
you don't wanna put it right here next to the road. Or you wanna put it behind the building.
It's truck access or whatever.
Yeah, we haven't really, I haven't really thought
Because
of
they
that.
need to have a cement.
I mean, cause you're not gonna wanna turn the truck around 10 dozen fucking times here in the middle of the yard. To put it inside or back up, get fuel, or, you know, you gotta kinda look at it to where your shed is.
It won't be part of the building structure, it'd be a
No, it
separate
is, you
floating
know.
concrete, something or other, whether it's a pad
That's
that you mounted on
what
or a
side's your
container.
tank on to
What
fill
about-
up?
Right now it's
Down
out
the-
front.
Well, they're out
Actually,
front, they're on the
They're
driver's
looking
side.
at
Right,
propane.
so you wanna be
So
able
it's
to
kinda-
drive in,
Yeah.
fill
Is
in,
it
or
propane
when
or
they're
oil?
driving out, fill
So-
out.
Right.
Yeah, fill
Your
out.
heating
Fill up
system.
when you're going out. That way it's
Usually
more
they
away
fill up
from-
before they put them away.
Yeah, it's, in the winter time, it's,
So it's
you
come
fill
out
it every
Because you gotta
night.
have full truck in case you.
They're powered, all the
Yes,
other
so
buildings?
Everything's filled up before they're
Yeah.
done.
Is it powered, the other buildings?
Yeah,
Did they say what, was it propane or oil?
Yeah,
on
I
the
got one.
heating system? Did you have any of that note yet?
We did talk about that, cause we put that slab outside. That was for propane.
And
LP
what-
gas we're doing.
No,
What
that
are
was the
people
generator.
using these days?
Oh, that
Because
was
they're
the
starting to
generator.
change
That's
from, we put in oil furnaces and stuff all these years and now they're paying us to go back to electric.
Yeah,
On that, the town of St. Albans probably asked and answered all of these questions lately. I know they have some massive underground propane tanks, 'cause they had problems with them floating. Out in the back of their place, for space heat. I'm 95% sure on that. And I'm sure they have their own fuel tanks. So within the last few years, those questions have been asked and answered, so it's up to them.
I know we talked about that, but I don't
So
know.
then all
Well, if it's propane, they can just put one of the torpedo tanks out back, it's not a big deal. But I was just wondering,
They may have to be buried.
a lot of times when a fuel tank for home, like heating fuel tank is put anywhere near the building, it has to be on a slab, has to be on a roof over it, there's a lot of stipulations now before they leave and fill it.
Even in your basement, you have to have a slab or something,
Yeah.
so.
And it can only be, the legs are gonna be so long, and there's a whole bunch of rules to that now, it's just changing a lot. So that's why I was asking about propane versus oil.
Pretty sure that you said propane,
I think we were.
because also oil usually goes inside the tank, goes inside the building, otherwise you have to treat it. All that kind of stuff,
Yeah, you
or
gotta
it's
do a mix, yeah.
another bill. So I'm pretty sure we talked about LP, but I don't see it in my initial notes in this folder, so. It could be just because I. assumed.
LP would be.
So that's something we actually gotta think about though, is what you're gonna use.
You
it
can
for
either
heating.
do an underground tank or an above ground tank or whatever.
It's not gonna change the piping in the floor or any of that. It's
Nope.
just the furnace will be a different furnace.
I was just thinking more of the fact if we had to put a little shelter over it or something, if it was an outside fuel tank. Or something, it might, you would wanna be noted on the plans.
Cause on a house trailer, they're making you put a roof over it, so I don't know.
Fuel tanks, every fuel tank has to have, if it's outside, has to have a roof over it. Period. No matter if it's on the gable.
That's why I
under the
say,
eaves, don't matter.
you talked about doing LP gas for here.
That's fine.
Cause I think I
Should be
actually
cheaper in
said
the
that
long
when
run.
you guys left.
No,
I don't have natural either, so.
Montgomery, many years ago, but I was involved in construction. I have some comments just based upon memory, and I just want to qualify that I may be off a little bit or totally wrong, but Montgomery put in their heating system. They love the radiant slab. Fast recovery, I believe. The drippings dried up very nicely. I think they love it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the people are still there now that were there when it was built, but I believe that the HVAC, the heating system, as far as like ventilation, was probably given to the lowest bidder in a design build situation with very loose specifications.
I think they found they had a problem with too much moisture.
Well,
Yeah.
that's,
It's not about-
that's why we're putting in a
Yeah.
dehumidifier.
Yes.
Bob's figuring that out too.
Reactively, I think they just put in a fan in the wall,
Yeah.
which
Kill your
is
energy
horribly
bill.
inefficient, but it solved a problem in the short term, and they probably
Yeah,
have
well,
all the funds used up.
it's set up on a humidity gauge.
Humidistat, yes.
Once it
Yep.
hits a certain,
But the right way to do that is to have HVAC equipment that will recover the heat and exchange the air and maintain proper moisture. And now's the time to take care of that rather than figure it out later that you're in a pickle. Based
Basically,
on Montgomery's experience.
basically like a big dehumidifier.
Yes,
Well,
it's called a
to
heat
simplify
recovery
it.
unit, I think.
Yeah, well,
And
that-
it's-
Yeah, that
it's
one
air.
will suck the moisture out. The hot air will go through and it'll exchange with the cold air and warm it up. Like the veal barns and stuff used to have.
If you bring in straight outside air, you have to heat that from -20 to 80, 90 degrees to heat your space. Heat recovery it's a heat exchanger.
It's
where you don't have to
basically like a
change
plate
all that
cooler
air.
for sap or
You can
milk or
dehumidify
whatever.
it.
Except it's air.
So it's a mechanical engineering thing, but I know enough to be dangerous. It cause trouble. So some lessons learned, and knows what take advantage of that.
Yeah, we mentioned that to Jake. when he-
Yeah, cause
Well,
you'd lose your energy efficiency rating would go right out the window with a humidistat and a couple of big fans in the gable. Even though the building there's enough thermal mass in the slab and everything else that it would recover quickly, but your rating would be shot. You wouldn't have it. That's part of the goals, to have that rating.
Any other questions or things you need to present to us?
The stairs inside are metal, right?
I think
Yeah,
that's what we
yeah,
decided
yeah,
on.
just- okay. That's all my questions for now. I'll make the corrections that we talked about tonight and, send them back to you.
Okay. You'll see the mezzanine, talking about the mezzanine, it's beefy. It's required to have 125 pounds per square foot live load rating. So you're gonna see 2x12s, 12 inches on the center spanning across those offices. So it's beefy, but you can store pretty much whatever you want up there.
Don't tell him that, cause he'll put 16.
That'd be another
spot
up
for-
there. And
We parked the mowing tractor up here.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, right up instead of stairs. No, you use the loader to, whoop.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
No, I'm just picking, but, yeah, it's single.
I don't think
layer.
that's OSHA approved though.
Single layer.
There's point loads, should be protected, but just a uniform load is kind of small.
Right.
That's required.
Did you have any
Right.
other reg questions on here?
No, I think I made a list on my iPad. And, those are the biggies for the town. These plans will be developed further. When is your next meeting?
The 20th.
Okay. I don't know if I'll have another round of drawings for the 20th. But if anybody has questions of me, please reach out. One thought that we were having before, construction. Whatever year it is, whether it's this coming spring or not, you have the time flexibility to be able to start breaking ground in the spring. That also gives you the awesome opportunity to send this out to bid in March and February when contractors are hungry and lining up their work. If this goes out to bid in August and you say, hey, we want concrete in the ground, so we can get in by December 1st, hopefully, prices are gonna be much higher traditionally,
laugh at
right?
you.
Yeah,
They're gonna laugh at
yeah,
you.
so take advantage of the bidding and construction seasons.
Yeah,
You get better
winter,
prices
early
in
spring.
March or February.
Don't have a house fire in March. It's really sucks trying to find a contractor.
You know that from experience?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
everybody's already booked.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
But yes, that's all right.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Well, thank you. Get to
Alright,
work.
I'll send the
Appreciate
revised
the
time,
plan
thanks.
to Brian, so you guys have
Thanks for all your
those,
work
and
too. It's good.
We'll go from there if we need to meet, or if we're still waiting for mechanicals or whatever.
Yeah. But no, that was good. Yeah.
Alright.
I was supposed to talk to Sean today and he never called me back.
He's in Ohio.
I was gonna say,
He
he's
told me
probably
he'd
on a.
call me around noon time.
He's hunting.
different time zone.
It was colder,
Yeah,
they
it
got more
was
snow
1
over
o'clock.
there than we did. My son's
Really?
over there too.
Oh, nice.
There were a lot of people hunting in Ohio this year.
Oh my God, everybody and their brother except me and Tim.
Yeah, my boy went, he just got back, he missed a big one. The kid that went with him got one, so.
Yeah, there's, every time I turn around, it's like, oh.
10-pointer,
there.
Nichols
Well,
got a
Ethan
10-pointer.
just went. Ethan is,
Stepson got a 10-pointer.
Yeah, she
Cole
got
missed
one.
a 10-pointer.
She had a picture on it yesterday. I
Ethan's
see it.
girlfriend,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Elizabeth got one today.
Elizabeth got one.
Yeah,
had
she
it on
did.
Facebook. She got a nice little.
Oh, they
8-pointer.
took girls
Between
between
my
that
way
day?
home and my way back
Ethan-
home, I saw
Ethan took
12.
her. I don't
Every
think
single
he
one
was-
was, nothing with horns, but I bet I saw,
Thank
oh, excuse me, I just won't let me say that, antlers. No, none of them had anything on their heads, and I bet I saw 12. No, but I'll take it. Oh,
I got his
Yes.
text.
Huh?
all right, I gotta go this way, you guys can.
Highway.
Used to be part of town.
We did,
I was on the select board.
Mark St. Pierre called me up Friday, and he's trying to get the sap from Hardwood Hill down. He's got 90% of his pipe already put in,
Right. Well,
and this weekend he finished it. I went up Friday, looked at it with him. He had to come down Hardwood Hill, the road, to do it.
Come down the ditch, eh? What's that all?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't let him come down the ditch. I'd come down the side of it, into the road a little bit. The side of it, I was afraid that if you went underneath the ditch, because of that bank being all clay, that it would slide. So the best conclusion was to come this far away from the top of the ditch, in toward the road, lay his pipe, and he compacted it.
You watch him or you see?
No, yeah, I went up a couple times, especially after I heard there was an accident on Hardwood Hill Sunday, and it didn't involve him at all, so that was good. He got 90% of it in Saturday, and they were just taking the loader, driving back and forth. After that got done, they leveled it as best they could and drove a loaded truck up and down it, so it's packed good. I went up today and kind of played around with it, shaped it up a little bit more.
You graded it.
You got it down in there pretty good, so it's not, I mean, you're not gonna have any effect that, like if you have to dig that ditch out again or that.
Oh no, it's away from the ditch. That should never bother us. And can't remember his name.
So you went across the river.
Casey?
Yeah, Casey.
Oh, they'd already drilled under.
They did that last year.
It's all been done. The drillers came. 105. All that was done a year ago.
Yeah. Casey made him, or asked him, whatever, it don't matter. They laid 2 lines down the ditch, or down
Case
their
one-
ditch, in
case
case one goes to hell. So, or maybe in the future, needs that extra line, but the road is done, so they don't have to touch the road again. I just we'll probably go up, whatever, when put a few more loads in it and get done. So he got that done. And then earlier, he put a line across the road on the reservoir road for his manure line. It won't take water. It ain't supposed to take water, but it's just for him, just for the hose.
Does he contact you first before?
Yeah.
he does it?
Yes, he's been good about that.
Where'd you put that? Down in somewhere by Bates's?
Yeah, between Bates's and
Dodd's place. So, Jackie
So he
Dodd.
can get taken spread.
he's spreading right straight. Yeah, he's doing that.
Besides that, the rest of the guys, Bill and Sean, have been putting up stickers. I think they finished today. We got our plow fronts on. We're getting ready for winter. Still got some more little bit of grading here and there to go, but we fixed that river road, took that block out of there. I don't know if I can think of anything else we did. Yeah, we're just moving along. In the yard, I kinda cleaned some of that stuff up, cause everybody wants to see where the building's going, so. I moved the gravel pile, moved the culverts. So that's good. And that's not unless anybody else has any questions.
Any questions
There
for
must
Dave?
be, when they're talking about, we gotta dig that out, there's no reason we can't stockpile the gravel if it passes there when you're hauling that out, so you can do.
Well, you can, but, yeah,
So what he's saying is you drive in, you dump your load, you level it. See,
Yeah, but why can't you stockpile it?
I would stockpile the dirty stuff. And then when they do their layers, if they can, bring it back, load it both ways, just load them.
yeah.
You're gonna have to have the hole done because they're gonna want, you're gonna put that in, they're gonna level it and pack it in layers like that.
I'm hoping I don't have to get that.
Do that to get your footings in.
No, this is pre-footings.
Oh, that's all, that's.
All this is before, this is your digging
You wanna
the,
bring it in, you wanna bring the gravel in and put it in place, and level it out, we're still gonna have to handle it.
no, but you are, no, but like I was thinking, just take every loader that they dug up and stockpile it up there. But then you're gonna have to take a loader and reload it and move it, so you're better off stockpiling your crap
For sure.
and just get rid of it.
I mean, if
Whatever.
you stockpile the good gravel up here, I mean, it can be done, but then you're handling it one more time. You're either gonna load it back in the truck to move it 50 feet, or you're gonna move it bucket by bucket. I mean, either way, I mean, it's all doable, but
I've never seen
I
any
can go figure it
cattails
out
out
as we
there.
go, kinda, you know what I mean?
They ain't that other thing.
Huh?
They're not cottontails, they're that other damn.
You got a turtle or something in there too?
yeah, I don't know how close we are to the,
There was wetlands when we built the salt shed, we had to go through all that permitting, so it's right there, like right behind the salt shed.
yeah.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, it was right, when we had to get a permit when we did the salt shed for wetlands, because it's right there.
Is the salt shed ready to line pretty much, and the salt shed pretty much ready to go?
The line of what?
Between them and us.
No.
No,
Well,
we can never find a pin, but
it's,
It's right there in that ledge.
it's a good 100 feet from the shed, ain't
I
it?
can find, I know where it is.
That way?
Yeah,
The
that
ditch-
way.
The ditch that I got is on the line. From the pond.
Yeah.
Down around.
Anything else for Dave?
no,
Okay.
clerk. Actually, there is a lot of things, but, that's beside the no. Oh, sorry. Okay, so, as these guys said, we do have to, come up with a project manager, somebody they can go to. Because right now I'm the middle person and it's just not working and shoving everything off. You didn't hire anybody.
But that's what they volunteered for that job, right?
Volunteer?
No,
Oh.
they said they should do that. Yeah, they volunteer, yeah. No, but they said they do that, right?
Yeah,
That's the
well,
We're still gonna have,
yes and no, yes. You've gotta designate somebody as a go-to person, yes.
But wasn't that what we got Sean up here for, was to see if he would do that?
No, you have, in the end, you have to hire them as they just set you up with these guys.
So we haven't paid them.
You haven't paid them any money. Can I steal one of these sets?
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
So is that something we have to do tonight? Then? We should-
Well, it's just because when they have questions, okay, so when they have questions on these now,
Yeah, they'll
and
have somebody go to.
they've gotta have somebody go to, and right now it's always me. And, well, I just say, deal with it. He's had to deal with it for the last, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, because I'm just like, I don't know, here.
No, I don't know.
And I'm just,
So I thought that was part of what they wanted, so, but we didn't. Ladies, you got a motion to see if we want to hire them to do that or what? Is that what we're looking at?
well, pretty much.
Make good with it.
Yeah,
Oh, what?
You can oversee it.
yeah.
You can oversee the project.
What's that pay?
It depends, do you know all the structural engineering on that building?
We're on a tight budget.
I don't know that. Door off yet. Huh? Door off yet.
Oh,
Might give you a job.
Right?
I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just saying,
That's
like,
what we need to
you
do,
gotta
though.
come up
That's
with
not
something.
Ralph. Oh, he's in his office already.
Yeah.
No, but he,
So would it be the question that you have Sean and Ed?
or Ed, one of
Who
them.
would it be, both of them? Do they work together, do they?
They pretty much do go back and forth, but
Thought we
yeah.
don't
Either one of them could do
Yeah.
it?
I'm just, yeah, cause when they have questions, you know what I mean, and
Oh, yeah, we
like,
understand that.
I don't know
Yeah.
structural engineering
Yeah.
by
Also,
any
like-
means.
We hire him for the job?
I don't know what they charge,
Well, he'd have to come back with,
but that's all right, I write the check, so it's okay, I can make anything else.
Stretch it out.
We check it off before you sign them, so.
Yeah.
There you go. That's true too.
so we'd like to do that tonight.
But this, like this, they need this dirt, right?
Yeah.
They gotta have some, so that's something they can make sure it gets done. That's
Yeah,
what this is all
that's
about.
their
right?
job, yeah.
And then they got a question about this?
Yeah.
I wanna make a motion that we hire Ed, or
Oh,
Sean, or
maybe we should
both.
ask him, right? He wants to go.
Well,
I already did, no. No, I already threw him, well, I threw him under the bus when I said, you know, I can't feel this. So I put him on for them guys, so they've been contacting him
So
on
what we should
everything.
do is actually see if they'll give us an idea what they want for the job.
Right.
Okay, we need you over here, dude. Excuse me? We need you
We
over
like a
here.
question, couple of
Oh
questions.
boy, me again? What the heck?
Yeah.
Alright,
So as far as like this, how do you keep track of what's going on?
The project manager.
Project manager. Do you want that job? And what do you charge for that job? You or Sean or
Come up with
Dan
something.
Sean or whatever. You know,
I mean, no, I'm glad to help you guys.
Because
Like tonight, I know
I
you guys
can
don't-
look at this and I don't know what this means.
I know, that's, and last night I sat down, what was that,
Yeah,
probably
we've
an
been
hour?
in for a long time. on
Looking
the
through
phone.
my, I got an email from him and I sat down and looked at the prints over and everything else and
You know somebody that we could probably get a hold of would be Brenda Wright. I don't know if she's up here all summer or whatever, but she's dealt with this and dealt with people. If, I mean,
If you don't, I mean, it's something.
no, I don't have a problem helping you guys.
You
work
guys
it.
are, and
I have no idea what to charge, I mean,
well, what he's charged so far has worked.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'll have to think about a number or something, and we'll just make it work. I'm not worried about that end of it, it's more, I just wanna make sure you guys, you know, looking at that slab, I looked at that slab drawing and I'm like, what in the world is going on? The first thing I did, I saw all them lines, I was like, this ain't gonna work, and then I started reading all the detail and it's like,
See, I thought the whole
this ain't
thing
gonna
was just
work.
supposed to kind of slope to the front, I would pick it up, and things are gonna be what, they were gonna be what, 12 foot long?
Yeah, she's designing like the front of a garage in a house, and that's what she's used to
It's
doing.
because it wasn't a continuous trench, it was,
Yeah,
because they had it, so it all had to be able to run to them.
And as soon as I saw it, I was looking at it and I knew the reason it was 4 inches, the gutter was 4
It
inches
was so
down,
close to the door.
was because of the slope
Yeah.
from the front of the truck back. It had nothing to do with the door, it had nothing to do with the width of the bays, it was because of the slope from the tip of that plow back to the gutter, has to be a certain amount, so that water runs that way and just doesn't puddle up. And that determines your gutter height, and then
So
everything
more or
else
less, we're
has
still
to slope.
looking, with what we're doing is hiring a clerk of the works, right?
Right.
So that's what we need.
I can work, yeah, I can work with you guys on it, no problem. As a financial number, I'll have to come up with something and see if it works for everybody.
Okay.
I'll have to think about it and come up with something.
We'll figure that out next week. You're not gonna be here. Where are you taking her this time?
What, the 20th? What's the 20th, that's the week of Thanksgiving?
Yes, and then I was taking that week off.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah,
Maybe,
Yes.
maybe we have the meeting next week.
We could.
'Cause I won't be here.
Oh, you're not gonna be here, oh, okay.
Well, if we go, bump up with it, I'd be nice.
No, we can go the weekend after.
Brian said he wouldn't have anything for the 20th anyways, and he said it would probably be for something the following.
Yeah, no, that's fine, we'll play it by ear, cause
So our next meeting,
yeah,
we'll make our next meeting 3 weeks, right?
Oh, good. Then we
Maybe
can go
I'll
every
go
other
the week
week
right
from
after.
here. I'd lot rather have it on another.
which is fine, because for budgeting, I just soon work a little bit, but that's all right,
Yeah.
I'll work with the 27th for now. So, I'll just put it on our stuff and
We'll
Go with
table
that,
this for that.
No.
Well, if you let Brian,
Well,
he
maybe
may
if-
have his stuff.
if
by
Ed-
I will.
27th.
If you come back with a financial thing for us for the next meeting, just see how it
So yeah,
goes.
we don't have to
I'll
make
take- I
any
don't know about-
motions on
In the
anything
meantime,
right
if there's
now.
any questions, we'll take them.
Oh, he doesn't have a choice.
Oh.
I sent it to him anyway.
I'm already on the checklist when they do the,
Yeah, I saw your name in the email, but I.
yeah.
No, because I said if you have questions, here,
Yeah, I
ask him,
saw- I
until
saw
we
you
get a
could do
project
that,
manager,
like
you
for
need
the
to
work.
ask him.
He might be able to give you an idea what to charge.
Who's that, Ian?
Larry Letourneau, he's done a lot of those.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't,
For the full system.
didn't Chris do one too, Teamisburg, yeah? Didn't he clerk of the works? Did he clerk of the works, one of them? Chris,
Oh, he
Kazanet?
did the one on our.
Kazanet, yeah.
I
I know
know
that
Larry's
they're
retired,
just
but
wanna
he
start
did.
finding-
I don't know about Casavan.
They
No,
have to, this is our
He was,
$100,000
showed some
back
interest
in
and then he didn't.
Did you have anything more, Danny?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, you got right by him, okay. No, I'm doing it. Other than that, over here. Other than that, over here.
So we'll
What's that?
wait and see what.
Yeah, no, that's fine, yeah,
Do we wanna
absolutely.
look up at, what did Jason say?
Hey, 2 pages to sign.
Oh, Brenda, right?
Oh, yeah.
Brenda's gone. Brenda's in Florida, she won't be back till spring.
Oh, okay. That's when we get started.
Well, she can talk with, maybe that's why you wanted it.
Yeah.
We only have to sign it in this one place, right?
Yeah, everybody just follows down that line.
Cause it says 2, and I see there was only one on the next page.
Okay, next.
Okay, so what's being passed around right now is, the paving grant. It's just the numbers for our reimbursement. But you guys need to approve that that's what we spent on that grant.
It's nice to have nice roads.
I know, it's like,
Well,
I mean, we got a bonus, cause the state did the other end of town.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
I do need a motion to approve this reimbursement.
Do I have a motion? Make that motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the,
Okay, we
Second.
got one, we needed two, so we're good.
Second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Vince, if you wanna just lift up and I need you to sign as the chair, the
There's
page
a little-
underneath too.
Little arrow sticker.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
what?
Little arrow sticker over the side.
Yeah, the sticker's, I think, in the wrong spot, is it? I can't read it from here, I don't
That's
even.
the
That,
date.
that's the,
Okay,
that's
oh,
the
then you're
sticker
fine.
for her raising pay.
Yeah, she just stuck
Just
that
kinda
in.
slid it in there.
I'll put the sticker back.
Yeah. There.
Your turn.
So the next thing that I have is regional planning, the $1,000 we pay them every year to help with the municipal roads grant.
That was on the computer, right?
Oh, I didn't look.
Oh, okay, no.
I'll
Yeah.
look tomorrow.
We only got to
I
sign
remember
one,
why
right?
I wrote that.
We only got to sign one.
Yep, no, that's how, you only have to sign one. So this is that $1,000 agreement, yeah, the agreement that we do every year with them. But we need to have it filled out for next year's stuff, so we just need a motion on that and. it's
I'll
up
make
to-
a motion.
Second. For regional planning
Who's
roads
second?
grant. Who's first? Do you need a second for this?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Alright, I
and
was gonna say, I didn't think I heard a second, but that's alright.
all those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
You're done with me, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, we'll let you go
Go
now.
home.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
gonna let me go now?
We'll let you go now.
yeah, will you go home and start my supper?
Yeah, I'm
No,
going
I'm
to
just
supper.
kidding.
I gotta go turn the burner on.
Yeah. Warm it up.
Usually I have to warm the whole thing.
Warm it,
Turn the burner on.
Just a microwave.
yeah, warm the oven up so you can throw something in there.
Huh?
Should I give you seats?
She does?
I'm asking it.
No,
Oh.
I don't.
No. Not till she
My
sits.
truck's not as high tech as yours.
Mine don't have heated seats either.
Oh, okay.
Unless you get a hot supper on the way home, I guarantee it.
So you got accustomed to riding around in a fire truck, so you bought one?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, you
Rick?
like that?
Yeah.
I didn't want a blue one like my niece had, so I took what was on the lot.
Okay, I forgot to write this one in, sorry. So Nemrick's reappraisal, we discussed this, on the last meeting. So they just need to sign contracts that say that you guys do approve it, so we can be on the books for 2027.
I'm not gonna do it till then.
They're gonna start in 2026, it won't be finalized till then. That's the earliest, which is okay, cause it's still part of the plan, it works.
How did it work out with, I forget his name now, but the guy that's
Justin?
gonna, yes,
He'll be here Monday.
okay.
He came the last time and it, you know, it's okay.
Okay.
Yep. I do have it in my notes to contact, where he does work and find out what the health insurance and all of that
Okay.
stuff's gonna be,
Okay.
because we still don't have the agreement.
Oh, okay.
So he's still hired by us, which works for us. you know.
We got anything on health insurance stuff coming in yet?
Keep going.
I just,
Just
I
approve-
just know, I've
I
seen
need
some come
approval for
across my
this
desk.
first.
Oh, we need a motion for,
Yes, we do. We need a motion and a second on this for reappraisal.
Reappraisal.
for November.
Okay, alright, I'll make a
No, you
motion.
did, but
Okay.
we have to accept their contract.
Okay,
You
make a
hired
motion that we
them.
accept the contract from Nemrick.
Second it?
second, all
For
those in
reappraisal.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have been through the whole thing with, Blue Cross Blue Shield. So right now, it's $7,700 a year more than it was last year for the same plan.
That's the increase?
Yeah, it's $7,700.
For the whole thing or for each?
So what was the
No,
percent?
that's total.
That's total for 3 people.
Yes. It went up, what was it, 14%?
14%,
Something like
okay,
that.
same everywhere, so.
Yeah, so it's about $600 a month total. That's over the board. That's everybody. You don't have to make a motion on it now, cause I don't need it until, well, the 1st of December. But it is
change,
what it
yeah.
is, you know.
What's gonna change?
It's not gonna change
I'll
it.
make
And
a
what's-
motion that we accept whatever it is, keep the same.
What's
thing.
did you got MVP prices or any of that? Just,
I didn't, MVP went up, I think 12%, they went up 15%, so we went through that, last year.
so it's about
Plans
the,
are a little bit different, you know, but overall, you know, they were a little bit cheaper, but
But this keeps it the same as it is now.
Right.
we don't change anything.
$7,000 for 3 people.
Yep. For the whole year.
Did we have we had a motion?
I made a motion,
Did we have a second?
second,
Oh, thank you.
yeah,
Any more discussion on that?
yeah.
Thank you. I
All those in
super
favor?
appreciate that.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be so easy when it comes race time.
Nope. I'd be a cent and a half.
You guys already know how I am with that stuff, so I really don't mind.
Cent and a half.
Oh, whoops, so I'm gonna have to get regional planning was coming to,
Oh, 12.
Catherine was coming to the next meeting to discuss that, the grant, hopefully to get a grant to redo the porch out here, but it's fine, I'll let her know that we're not gonna have one and she'll come the next.
Is that all right
Thursday.
with everybody to just switch the meeting?
To have the meeting the 27th instead of,
After
cause it
Thanksgiving?
would be
Doesn't
bowling,
matter.
Works for me.
Oh,
I don't-
sorry about, oh, I forgot about that.
Well,
yeah,
I can switch, it's not a
Okay.
big deal.
so we'll go with that, I'll let her know. So you guys know.
So we
that.
have 2 meetings in a row, or we'll just go every other
No,
meeting?
we're not gonna do well, we probably will, only because December puts through budgeting
Budget
and
and
trying to
Yeah,
clean
Every
up
week.
what people didn't spend and make sure we know where we're at.
So
and
one
all
of them would
that
be a
stuff.
budget meeting maybe?
Yeah, it can be.
Just a budget meeting rather than
Yeah.
a regular meeting?
Well, no, the
No,
next
unless
one
they
will
can-
be kind of
No,
both.
the
but-
3-week one will be both.
No, then the next one after that will definitely
Oh.
be working on the budget, yes, yes. But the one for the 27th, and then it'll be the next week after, because we gotta clean up the end of the year stuff.
So you're telling me I gotta spend some money?
Nope, I'm gonna get you,
No.
I'm gonna get stuff together to know where we need to
Yeah,
spend
that's
money,
that's what I
or
need.
where we're, you know, a little behind and stuff, but. Yep,
Switch
no,
it.
it's fine, yep.
Very good.
And I
Anything else?
think that was it, right?
Oh, we got one, the tanks. Septic tanks. You said you want,
Oh, yes, you're right. The other thing was, our passive insurance, which is our property insurance and vehicle insurance, they went with a 9% increase this year, and they're raising the values of all of our property, obviously, to meet what today's standards are, so you can expect a big increase in our passive insurance. But 2 years ago, they dropped like, I don't know, it was $10,000-$15,000. So they're just basically coming back up from where they were 2 years ago, but it's gonna take a hit on our budget because it's been 2 years of a low number.
Everybody's gonna.
Yep.
Well,
So the next thing is yes, septic tanks. I called to have this one here pumped out. It's a 3,000 gallon tank, right?
yep.
So they told me it holds 3,600. I don't know, but
Put sideboards on that.
good thing it'll be over in your yard. Anyway, so they quoted me $1,300 this year to pump that out, which it's been, first it was like 8, and then the next year it was like 9. Now it's
Have you only had talked to one place?
this is where we're at.
Who'd you call?
Drumac.
Working dog.
Well, it was Working Dog or Gendron's.
I'll call them both.
Call them
So
both.
I'm just saying. you
I've
want
heard a
me to get
lot. I've heard
numbers?
working dogs. Reasonable. The drum
Yeah.
axis.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because I'm just like, dang, you know what I mean? That's $1,300. I was like, that's $400 more than they charged us last year.
Yeah.
And it has to be pumped out every year. Unlike the garage, it's got to be twice a year. I don't know what they
I
do
don't
over
know.
there.
I don't,
Same
Yeah,
size
I-
tank?
our tank, yeah, that's why I found out about it, is I
'cause
called there
it
to
was
find out
pumped in
who we
March,
hired.
and
Our
theirs
tank is full.
Full already.
So
Cause that's got a whole new leach field and everything, right? Or is it
No,
just
there's
a
no
tank?
leach
That's the
field.
problem.
It's just a tank.
It's just a holding tank, just like this one.
I could have a leach field, but it'd be in the middle of your lawn.
Cause all our water goes in, all your water goes in there?
Wanna know where mine is?
Just the sink
Just-
water and toilet water.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that goes in there.
But anyway, so both have to be pumped out. So I can call around. So you want me
Yeah,
to do
call
Working
around,
Dog
yeah.
and Gendron's and just see on 3,000 gallon tanks what they would charge to come in.
Yeah,
Okay.
can we make a motion today that she finds one that's cheap?
Yeah, the cheapest one, go for it. I've heard good
Rather
things
than have to wait.
of working dog, so I don't know about the other company. We'll know for sure. Whoever's the cheapest, come do it.
Okay.
That's good.
No, it's fine. I can set that up. Oh. All right. No, I'm good. Everything's fine.
Do we get a vote on that, or is that just?
No, I'm
that
just gonna
happens?
say that the select board's in agreement because, you know what I mean, it's, that one's okay.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Smart ass.
Anything else?
Good. Oh, yeah, you wanna close that?
Yes.
As I'm putting everything away.
Do I have a motion to close the meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Move it.
Second, all those in favor?
Football.
Bring us a
Yeah, one, the picture here, you want this one too?